Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Zero Gap. I'm Joseph, and with me, as always, is Paul.
Hello, everyone.
And if you are not watching, if you are only listening, you do not get to see the fact that we have a very special guest with us today. We have Reggie Smith of Cuts by Reggie, a very popular, very good YouTube channel. It's lovely to have you on, Reggie. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is nice, very nice.
What we can let everybody know is that what we really do is we don't do any research in any of our equipment. The night before we do a review, we just watch Cuts by Reggie, take all his points, and then regurgitate it as our own.
Yeah, I mean, we change a couple of words and so modify some stuff so it looks like we've said it.
So it's not copying your homework.
You gotta make it look like your own.
Yeah. So we just probably Reggie and Tank be chopping. I think both of them, we just watch what they say.
I just write everything down what they say, but I write it with my left hand so it looks like somebody else has done it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
It's remember years ago when we used to actually get equipment before anybody else. Now it's him.
No, it was that long ago.
We have to wait now.
The perils of being a UK-based barber channel.
Yeah, that's it.
So, what has been happening with you? Is there anything you want to let the listeners know? Or if anybody is not familiar with you, just a quick sort of little intro to yourself.
Well, I am Reggie, Cut by Reggie. I do YouTube. I review as many clippers and trimmers and things that I can. I started that probably about maybe a year and a half ago. And it's so much clippers that come out. It's hard to keep up with all of them, but we're trying. We're definitely trying.
Yes.
You definitely seem to be able to get your hands on everything, though.
Yeah, my wife don't like how soon I can get my hands on a lot of this stuff because it comes out and you try to hide it, but she reads everything. Yeah,
what you need to do is, a friend of mine years ago used to have a motorcycle, and it was very expensive to keep it up, and his wife cottoned on to this, but he worked out that every time he had a repair done on it or he had something new added to it, if he just went, okay, it was just 50 quid. She was all right. Yeah. So just always is that a new set of trimmers? It's just $50. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Just it's constantly right off there, cut it off at the source.
So what's your sort of strategy behind reviews then? So you've got so much stuff on the go, right? How long do you spend with each item? How long do you give it before you give your review?
So I will do an initial review. I'll probably use it for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. And depending on if my mind changed on a product, which it has, I'll go back and revisit it maybe a month, maybe 2 months after I first review it, because you'll get a new product and you'll be happy to have it. And when you first using it, it seems like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's after you use it for a little while, and after you put out your great review or on something, then you're like, wait a minute, I don't think I like this as much as I said I did. So I have to go back and, cause if people ask, because they'll watch my Instagram and they'll be like, you don't use this anymore. Or you don't use that anymore. And it's like, well, let me tell you about that product. Not what I thought it was.
I know, because, over time, you can see quite big differences in volume. We've had a lot of machines that have got progressively louder and louder and louder. Build quality issues. Sometimes you really like the performance of the machine, and then 3 to 4 months later, the lever goes, the battery life doesn't last as long. And you're right, it makes you have to come back and either eat your words if you've said it's been the best thing ever, or you've got to completely readdress your review altogether. So it does take time. It's just unfortunate, though, that everybody does want to know about these machines as soon as they come out.
Yeah. And that's another problem I run into, because as YouTube has grown, I do try to put it out as fast as I can, because, of course, you want to get the numbers before everybody else gets the numbers. Mm-hmm. But to really give it a good review, you can't rush it out too fast, because you just be talking and not really knowing enough about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And do you cycle through those machines over a long period of time, or do you just decide I'm not using that anymore, it goes in a drawer and that's it? Or do you keep cycling them through your rotation?
It depends. It depends on what half came out. Like when the Rebels came out, I went back to the Alpha just to see, because I did not like the Apples at first. So when they brought the Rebels out, it made me go back to say, if this is their upgrade on it, let me see how I feel about that. I still didn't like the Apples, but I don't know, every now and then I like to go back and try to use something that I done put up. Now, if it's just bad, it's just bad. And I keep it in the box somewhere. I don't bring it back out.
I mean, I think there are things like, I know you do it a lot. You go through loads of machines like in here on site. I'm quite bad. I'll tend to like try something for a week or so, and then I'll go back to the things that I like. You're really good at like constantly going through and using. Yeah.
Well, it just mostly comes from the fact that if you're going to be the one doing the reviews, I feel like you still need to be fairly sort of up to date with your feelings on machines. Like last week, I used the FX3 from Babyliss, the whole set, the 3 of them. I used them all week because I've been chopping and changing and doing other things for like our Clipper Wars video that we did and stuff. And I just thought I'm going to go back to them because it's been a while since I used them, and I just want to see how I feel about all 3 of them in general. And I still feel more or less the same. There's maybe 1 or 2 things that in hindsight, like I'm talking minor things that I might have brought up in a review, but for the most part, I'm still pretty comfortable with the reviews that we put out.
Yeah. I think it's quite funny though, because people, being a reviewer and like yourself, being a reviewer, you're not always actually giving the best review, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to, if you're interested in a wall legend, for example, you're better speaking to somebody that's exclusively used that clipper for like 6 months. Not like us who our wall legend's been used maybe consistently for about 10 days, if that, right?
That might be the next one I go on to, just to try and get a bit more.
I mean, our experiences really have to come from initial and intermittent approaches to it, but if you're really wanting the bottom, like you should really speak to somebody that's used it like as their main clipper for, for a certain amount of time. And it's also strange as well, but I think a lot of people watching what we do don't realize that sometimes you have to suffer through a bad clipper for like 10 days.
Which is terrible.
No, I mean, I don't want to land you in trouble with anyone, but you can tell us later if you really want. But has there been anything that you've opened up out the box and just initially thought this is no good? Because I've had it like once or twice, and I've maybe been proven wrong once. But for the most part, I feel like when you get something out, regardless of how good it is, you get it and it's either good or it's terrible.
So the one thing that I did go back on was the Prodigy shaver. Like I don't know why, but right out the box, I opened it, used it, and I just hated it. Like I did not like it at all. Maybe it's because I've used the other shavers from Andes and Wild, but that one just didn't hit for me. So I threw it away. I ended up buying a whole nother one just to go back to it. This is before I started collecting them and keeping everything that I buy. But once I put those slick foils on it, it's like it's a lot smoother shaver now. But at first I just hated it, and I put out a bad review, and that's what actually got Gamma that contacted me. But like they didn't contact me on like, why would you say that? They was like, well, talk to us about. It's why I love Gamma, because they came to me, talked to me, and we had good conversation after that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big deal.
That's funny. That's definitely one of the things that was, you see, when you were having that question, that was one of the first ones that came to my mind. It was like the Prodigy. I mean, I thought it was a foil based off of technology. The technology was good. The wireless charging technology was impressive, but I think it needed the performance to back up the technology.
I think the point about the head was correct as well. I don't think I was that keen on the initial one that came with it.
No,
but once the slick ones came out, that was much better.
I mean, they are evolving it.
Yeah,
I like those slick foils a lot. I like those a lot. Now that I don't use it. I'm using the Andes Resurge now. So,
well. I was going to get onto that at some point, but you've just forced my hand now.
Who's interviewing who here?
I know. So we finally got our research from Andis literally on Friday afternoon, just there. And so we've had very, very limited time with it. And also as well, after it came in, I didn't really have any skin fades in.
Luckily I did.
Right. So I haven't had a chance to really put it through any paces, but you know what, man? I am really, really impressed with it so far.
Yeah, they surprised me. Like I didn't like the shape of it. When you look at pictures of it, it looked like it was going to be a lot heavier, a lot bulkier. So it's a lot slimmer.
Oh, it's much smaller.
Like the design of it, but it's a very good shaper. Very good shaper.
Yeah.
I don't like that run time, even though people don't like me complaining about run time. I get a lot of comments like you shouldn't complain about run time, but you know, when everything's cordless, run time is a big deal. So
for me, $200 for a 60-minute runtime is a bit poor. Yeah. Right. I will just off the bat. Yeah. I also said, the first thing I said when it came out of the box is, where's the stand? Yeah. Right. You know, I thought like a small, even just like, you know, a kind of a small plastic.
Yeah. Cause I mean, the Bronze Series 9 is more expensive. Come to the charging stand. It's not a particularly impressive one, but it has it.
Yeah,
I don't think it has a much better runtime either.
No, but they could have done a token gesture stand for $200. You could have, you know, I mean, my initial thoughts were that it's the first time when I got the packaging that I kind of got on board with the new Andis rebranding. I thought, like, you can see where they're going with it now and why they've done it. The packaging, we discussed the packaging a lot the other day, more than the machine probably, that it felt premium. The packaging felt like you were buying a luxury item. You know, it was like you were buying something from Apple. It was really, the packaging was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the feel of the foil was nice. It felt like a premium foil. I had quite a few questions. We posted some TikToks about it, made a few questions. People wanting to know if the head pivoted like the Bronze Series 9. And I was like, it does pivot, but it pivots left to right instead of back and forward. The Bronze Series 9 is back and forward and the Resurge is left and right. They wanted to know the price and about the noise. So I did a decibel test of the Bronze Series 9, which was 73 decibels. And I did the Andis Resurge and it was 72 decibels. So it was actually quieter. And I know that it's sometimes pitch that people hear more than the actual volume, the pitch of it. But because when I posted the video, some people were like, that's really loud. But I mean, I don't know how you feel, Reggie, but I don't actually think it's that loud.
I don't think it's too bad. I think sometimes when we put sounds to the camera, maybe it sounds a little bit higher. Maybe it just don't sound the same as it does to us in the shop because it don't seem that loud. It don't seem disturbingly loud to me at all.
No, I don't think so.
I do think as well, we're all using like such good microphones and everything nowadays, making these videos and that it picks up every single bit. And sometimes I'll watch back our reviews and see the sound mentioned and everything. I'll be like, I do not remember things sounding even that loud.
And what people forget as well is we're recording in a room that's at least, I don't know, our ceilings are really tall. It's like an echo chamber up there. Whereas down here, we've got a soundproof room that we record these in. So if I recorded the sound of me, if I was using it down here, it would sound infinitely different than the shop floor. So if you're working in your barbershop's got a relatively low ceiling, the noise of your machines are going to be different and picked up differently on camera than they are in an old building like ours with really high ceilings. But speaking of sound on clippers, I see you've got the Copper Masters.
Yes. I was hoping they would give us something different. You know, the sound is, you can actually tell that it's a little quieter than like the gold ones that I bought previously.
Yep.
Not by much, but you can hear the difference. You know, it's cool. And that's another thing about these companies. Like Andis is rebranding, but is there need for rebranding if you're not giving anything? You know, you're not adding anything to the industry right now. So I don't know. I haven't been a big fan of Masters, so I have them, but I'll probably put them in a box somewhere.
keep them as a trophy, like for show.
Yeah.
You could like arrange them. Put a golden gun in the middle and like a silver, gold, and rose gold iPhone. Oh, not iPhone. Sorry, Master on on either side of the golden gun.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this year, obviously being their centenary year, they're going to have to come.
Yeah, well, that's something we've talked about recently as well. I mean, do you think that maybe the time of rebranding all your stuff as cordless is done and we maybe need to start seeing some new stuff? You know, Wall gave us a cordless Legend, Andis have given us a cordless Master. You know, do we maybe just need some...
I think Oster also did a cordless fast feed, but I'm not sure.
We'll get to that. But do you not think we maybe need some new things from people now?
And that's what I kind of thought with Andis when they was doing the whole rebranding thing and trying to be the younger, hip company. I thought they was going to give us something new. And I say the way that everything is moving right now, instead of re-releasing, because they're just doing it because of the name, which business-wise, I understand.
Yeah.
But if you're not adding to what we already can get from other companies, whether it's runtime, motor, power, like if you're not giving us anything more, I think you're setting yourself up for a downfall, because I mean, I used to do music. I listen to a lot of music.
Yeah.
So if you got like a Jay-Z album Volume 1 and he drops the same title Volume 2, you already have an expectation. So if you don't meet that expectation, I think it's real. I think it's pointless. Me personally, myself. So, but
I mean, I don't know.
There's many more people than just me.
I mean, I don't know. Like we had this discussion about the packaging, and you made a really good point about the packaging. That though, like Andis still have to remember where the majority of their customer base is. It's probably in barbers that have been barbering for quite some time. You know, like, and their packaging, I felt kind of straddled that kind of like, you know, new, but also still appealed to like, you know, their, you know,
the imagery that they had on it looked cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like they'd come out like with a skateboard on, trying to be like 18 years old.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't come out like Steve Buscemi in that meme. Like, how do you do, fellow kids? Like they're not trying to do that. They're like, it's modern. It looks like it's in touch with what's going on, but it's very much just letting it, it's letting it be its own thing. Yeah. It's not trying to jump in and take over. And
I also think you've got this, what is the most important, right? We're always like banging on about innovation, right? You know, something you've touched on there, Reggie, as well. Innovation. Does innovation outweigh it works? Right. Now, for example, like if you've got a clipper with a 15-hour runtime, right? And like 8,000 lids that come with it, and you know it floats on water, and you know you can watch Netflix on the back of it and all the rest of it, right? Is that and it like dies after like, you know, 63 days, you know, or do you have a slightly less impressive spec clipper that lasts you for 4 years? You know, what really is the important one?
I think definitely finding a balance in between them, but definitely if my no matter how my product is packaged, if it can still get the job done, it lasts you a couple of years rather than 6 months, that's definitely going to win in the overall category. Which while reviewing, I think that's another problem that I have ran into, because I'll review a clipper, it'd be a great clipper, 6 months down the road, it don't work no more, or it's done, you know, levers done popped off and stuff like that. So if these companies like Andis, Wall, and Oster are still creating products to last the time, I think, the extra lids is cool, the extra colors is cool, but if it don't last long enough, it really doesn't matter. We're still in the beginning stages of the Rebel. As of right now, and it's still going strong. You know, I can't speak for a year down the road, but, you know, as of right now, it looks good, you know. So I definitely think if you're creating a product that lasts, you're going to win over the customizable world that we live in right now.
I mean, you take Andis's like barbers that have been using it for a long time. Okay. They were probably still cutting hair back when haircuts were maybe like, I don't know, $8 or something like that, you know, and the amount of surplus money wasn't there to just keep buying machines all the time. And then you get like a new generation of barbers now that are used to seeing a new clipper drop in every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like 10 minutes, you know, and they are probably not really going to want to be using their clipper any more than a year. They'll want the new clipper next year. You know, if they get the Rebel this year, they'll want the Rebel 2.0 next year. So maybe as the new generation of barbers come in, they're not as bothered about the machines lasting for 4 years. But maybe Andis have to go, well, a lot of the barbers that we've been serving for many years are used to our machines lasting. So that again, they've got to kind of tread on both sides. You know, new barbers coming into the industry and are like, you know, barbers that have been using our products for years.
So I just want to get to the fast feed.
You want to get to the
I
fast
just
feed?
want to get to the fast feed, and I don't have a good segue for it. So,
well, that's a company that's been around for years that have been serving barbers for years. That was a way in.
There we go. There we go.
What's that? What was that? Oh.
That's what a box looks. That's what it actually looks like when someone sends it to you.
Can we start with that box right now? Does it look rushed? Does that box look rushed to you?
It definitely looked like they had some old boxes in the back, and it was just like the barber world.
It looks like a screenshot.
It's terrible. I have gotten a lot of hate, I guess, backlash on me talking about the appearance, because a lot of people was like, you know, the packaging doesn't matter, which it doesn't if the product works. But it's part of it. It's appealing to the eye.
As you said in the video, first impressions, you know, it's hard to shake those.
Yeah, and if packaging didn't matter, every company in the world wouldn't bother with, you know, like presentation is all part of the experience. And if you're wanting
that's why people watch our channels. You can just film a video on your phone and put it out.
Yeah.
But you're going to watch things more if it's presented to you
in a better format,
in a better way. And as our presentation is improved, so has our view numbers and so forth. And you'll find the same thing, Reggie. So presentation is important.
Because I kind of feel not the rushed thing, but like, you know, we touched on this before. There didn't seem to be a lot of footage leaking out of people testing this.
Keeping it real quiet.
Yeah, it got delayed. It got pushed back. And then all of a sudden it got dropped. It just got dropped, you know? And I don't know how you feel about it, like how you feel that they've brought this to market.
As of right now, I don't even know if they're really out yet. Like, I know there's websites selling them, but nothing from Oster will give you the impression that these clippers are out.
Yep.
Coming out. They have not put out a price for them. Like, there's nothing about them on their website. I don't know if that Instagram is actually even Oster.
We said that before.
Well, I saw a post that came up. It said, selling through our retail partners, Sally's and Amazon. Which I thought was I don't know, that I just thought that was a little bit strange, but like not Sally's, but like the Amazon side of things. Amazon. Yeah, like, you know, I didn't know if that would. I mean, obviously that's a big retail partner to have.
Yeah, it looks like Amazon did the packaging for them as well.
Well, I've heard how much from a source. I've heard from a.
Who's your source?
Yeah, I can't say that.
Tell me later. Just message me later.
I will. And I've heard how much you have to bulk order for Oster to even send you some. Yep. So I don't think a lot of the retailers that they might have used, like an Atlanta Barber or anything, are actually going to be able to, or even want to put that price out there to try to even make it back from people. You know, because I know the people are wanting the fast feed, the cordless fast feed, but I don't know how good they're going to sell right now.
That's right on the money, I think. That kind of maybe also explains the kind of sudden drop and the, I don't know, like not as much coming out there, not as much build up. I don't know. I mean, well, if we actually go to the machine itself, how does the quality or the build quality of the machine itself feel?
It feels nice. It's pretty lengthy and bulky.
How much longer is it than the original? Is it like a third longer?
I wish I had the original one here. I got it downstairs somewhere, but it's a little bit longer. And you know, of course, it's cordless, so you got to add more room for machines and all that.
Yep.
So I guess I understand it. It's not bad. It's not hugely noticeable. I mean, you know, it's not going to be a bother for you if you use the cordless. I mean, the fast feed.
Is it affecting the balance or the weight, or does it actually feel different to use, or does it still feel like the same machine?
No, and that's the one thing about this machine. They do. I think I should deliver on. If you like fast feed, you're going to like this clipper.
Okay.
It doesn't change the feel of it. It doesn't change the balance of it. Everything, it's like all your weight is, you know, it's balanced.
Uh-huh.
It's nicely balanced. It's not bad at all.
And is
as far as delivering on it being a fast feed.
And is the finish of the clipper the same as the original? Have they changed it? Is it more of a matte, or has it got grip there?
No, this is more of a matte finish.
Yep.
It's got a nice grip to it. Where, you know, the regular fast feeds, I don't know, it's like a stick. It's on the field. So this is, it's nice to grip. You know, you're not going to drop it unless you're just clumsy like me.
Or me.
But it feels nice. It feels nice.
No, I really want one of those. So if anybody from Oster or Amazon is paying attention, you could make it slightly easier to get stuff to the UK. That would be, I know, I'd appreciate that. That'd be nice.
We jumped straight on to 614 Barber Supplies and to buy one.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was you actually told me to go in there and do it. So I went straight on and I bought it and I was like, yay. And then it went, we do not ship to your address. And I was like, oh. So I messaged them and said, look, you know, do you not ship to the UK? And they were like, no, we don't. Sorry. And I was like, But, you know.
The thing is, people don't understand. We will pay shipping. You know, we will pay for shipping.
Yeah, and everybody now knows that we'll just steal Reggie's review anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
So if I can get you guys one sent out, I'll send you out one.
Oh, thanks, Reggie.
That would be very appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah. I could see about handling that.
I mean, we've got like kind of limited fast feed experience because it was a clipper that was never released in the UK. Ever, right? No. The one we had a converter.
Yeah, that's true. You should have seen this converter, man. It was like twice the size of the machine itself. You know, it was like a giant block that you had to have sitting there. It was the same with the original Masters as well, the Cordon Masters that we had in the shop for a while, because you have to have that difference of voltage over here. Like, it's so hard to get anything like that to work properly. So the idea of a cordless one is it's pretty exciting. Do you think it'll crack into your regular rotation, or do you think you're just reviewing stuff too much to even hang on to it?
Yeah, I think I have too much at the moment to even go through. I wasn't a fan of the fast feed, the original fast feed. So I did want to get my hand on these two, see how it felt, see how it cut. But as far as me continue to use it, probably not.
It's funny you saying that, because you said earlier you weren't a big fan of the Masters, and you're also not a fan of the fast feed. So you're not too stuck to the traditional barbering kind of things, like the mainstays.
No, so I started cutting just 8 years ago.
That's still plenty time.
It is, but so when I went to barber school, they gave us all wall. Everything that they gave us was the wall. I had the super tapers to start off with. So I got used to the way that those feel, and by the time I started actually getting anything from Andy's or Oster and buying different things, I was already so set on wall that these are just other companies to me. I mean, I do understand how long they've been here, but to me, you know, once Gamma started coming and Babyliss started coming, it's just like it's so much to choose from that I'm gonna try everything, at least as much as I can.
I see. I had a very similar thing when I started. I had walls, and that's all I was really used to for like over 10, 12 years, whatever. So I sometimes feel like when I'm doing reviews, I need to be really conscious of the fact that not everything is going to work in the exact same way as a wall. Do you feel that like you have to sort of make a similar sort of thing in your head, or in your head, does it just go, well, wall's the best way of doing it. So if it's not as good as a wall, then, you know.
Well, in the beginning, that's how I kind of went towards everything. Like if it doesn't feel like a magic clip, then it doesn't work right. Or if it doesn't cut like a finger, then it's not right.
It's easy to do.
Once I started trying everything out and seeing that all clippers are not built the same, all clippers don't have the grips on the back like a magic clip or a finger, I got kind of used to it, because now that I use the Mythic now, and it's not even close to resembling a magic clip. So you got to get used to using a bunch of different things, right?
So with the fast feed, I take it you've not even taken the guards out of the box, or did you actually try the guards?
I tried the guards.
That was your first mistake.
I assume they've not created some kind of new Oster premium guard.
I wish they would have brought something out that kind of feel, because when you see people using them, I mean, they're using the Andes or Speedo guards. So somebody commented and said, well, they can't sell Andes guards. I understand they can't sell them, but
they can make their own.
If you were paying attention and seeing what people use, you would see that they don't use the guards that come with these. They would rather have some double magnetic or a single, any magnetic, guard that go a more premium feel to them as well.
And have you found the lever reach or the throw is the same as the original fast feed?
It actually opens wider than the regular fast.
Because the lever drops a bit deeper, doesn't it, than the original one? Yeah. And sound, is it comparable? Is it quite quiet, or do you feel it's quite a...
It's a little quieter. So I actually recorded my review of these yesterday, and the original, the corded one is actually louder than the cordless fast feed. And it's not by much, but if you put them side by side, you will notice that it's a little quiet. It's a little quiet.
And is the stand of a good quality, or is it? Yeah.
It's very durable. In the trimmer, the T-finisher and the clipper take the same charging dock as well.
Oh, good.
So that's a great feature to have if you're gonna get both of them, and you don't need to load your station up with extra stands. So good.
Yeah. And as Joseph was saying, like you don't feel that it's going to become a permanent part of your rotation, or you feel like you're kind of done now for a while, or are you going to revisit them later on?
Well, I'm actually gonna continue to use them for a little bit, because I've only had them for a week. Like I said, I like to do my reviews after a week, and then kind of use them a little bit to see if anything changes. So I'm gonna keep them for a little bit. As far as later on down the road, if I fall in love with them, maybe. But as of now, it's probably got another 2-week run for me.
So when you're getting a clipper in, or trimmer, or in fact anything, what's your keys? What do you look for? Like what is your like ideal situation? Like for me, one of the first things I check is weight. That's really important to me. So even a really, really, really good clipper, if it's too heavy for me, it's a no. What are some of your key features that you look for in a clipper when it comes in to make you impressed by it?
And that's actually one of mine. I like a lighter clipper. I don't like the heaviness to some of them. So I look for if it's, how does it feel in your hand naturally?
Yep.
Because if something's too heavy to me, it don't flow naturally. I know a lot of people do like the heavier clippers, but I look for the weight, what's the run time, what kind of motor are they using, which I don't know a lot about. I've been teaching myself trying to learn the insides of the machines and stuff. I don't know all of that yet, but I am trying to, further my education in that, but I like the run time. Like I said, a lot of people don't like me complaining about run time because there are charging docks and things of that nature. But sometimes, a good run time is great, so, and then how's it built on top of that?
Yeah.
So if you got you a good clipper and it's 3-hour runtime, 4-hour runtime, and it's got a nice quality build to it, I mean, that's a winning situation. And then if you got a charging stand with it, it just adds to it.
So you didn't mention like customization, aesthetics, or the look of anything. So is that not really something that's that important to you, like the actual overall sort of design or the visual appeal of it?
So I do look at the visual, but it's not a big deal because, like I said, the cordless fast feeds are not appealing to me, especially the packaging of them. But if you get a product and it works and it outlasts anything else that you have, I'm not too big on it. I always, even when I get my Gamma clippers, it's good to see that they got the different plates and all that. I never change them, even though I always say I will.
I never change them.
I never change it because I'm just used to, I'll grab the clipper, I'll put the box over to the side, and I don't even think about it. I'm just using the clipper as it came to me. So I don't even think about I do like customizing, but it's not a big deal. It's not that big of a deal.
And what about blades? Are you like wedge, taper, fade?
I love a fade blade.
Yeah.
I love a fade blade. So I didn't used to like fade blades because they seemed like they would snag when I was in the beginning of learning how to cut. Certain ones would snag on the hair or on the skin too much. But it seems like as they build them better, I've learned how to use them and cut with them now. A fade blade across the board for me is how, which is nice too because Andis actually sends you a fade blade with the topper.
Oh, do they?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Their fade blades are exceptionally thin though.
Yeah.
They're like almost surgically scary.
Yeah. I might dig this because I was really quite impressed with the research and a little bit of it I used recently. And I did like them. I might just start switching over to Andis now.
Okay.
You know, maybe just like get a little bit more. I don't know. That research has really swung me around a little bit, I think.
You think you're gonna go you've gone all FX3 this week?
Yeah. I'm gonna go all Andis this next week.
So what trimmer are you gonna use?
GTX XO.
Oh.
And what do you think about the GTX XO?
I love that's another one that I loved in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up buying 3 of those.
Wow, you must have really liked it.
One for each hand.
I liked it.
It's all right. It's all right. They're just 50 quid. It's fine.
50 quid.
50 bucks.
No, buy one, get one free.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. I'd have been stupid not to get them.
I liked it a lot at first, and so I just bought me a second one to have a backup. But then the first one that I bought ended up dying, and it don't cut back on anymore. So I ended up buying a second one, third one, so I can still have a backup. Now the last one that I just I gotta revisit that now. But the third one that I just bought is starting to. It don't even after a full charge, it won't cut back on quick. It's like I gotta mess with the power switch too much.
I did a video about that. Mine does that. Yeah. I put a video at you turn it on and nothing happens. And then you go like, oh, it's not, and then it turns itself on, and then you turn it off, and you turn it back on again, and I think it could be like when it came out, they were having all those kind of PCB board issues globally, with the distribution of those electric circuit boards, and I don't know, maybe at that time the quality of PCB boards in the trimmers were not as good as they could have been because there was a global shortage and there was not a lot of availability, and maybe they were just having to make do with the PC because that's what controls the on-off switch to turn the motor. So maybe the quality just wasn't there, and it doesn't take, well, obviously if you've had 3, it's not much to throw it. Yeah, it's not taking much to throw it. But
it's funny, we were talking about things lasting and equipment being good, and the customization of it and everything. So I have a set of X Ergos from Gamma at my station, and I was using them last week, and the button just completely caved in. Like the button,
so strong,
right? The button to turn it on. I know, I'm so jacked, and the button just caved in entirely, and it wouldn't go back on. And it was fully charged and everything. I charged it that morning, and I was like, what's going on? And see if we hadn't been doing this channel and we hadn't been talking about things, I'd have just went, I'll just toss that straight in the bin.
Yeah.
But I took the cover off and everything, and the PC board was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And everything was okay. It just turns out that the little button bit underneath caved. So at least if there are PCB board issues, again, I haven't encountered them yet.
Yeah.
So,
I think if you're going to put the button on the top lid casing of a customizable clipper,
that's going to be the first
you're
thing
going to have that risk that it's not built strongly enough.
Yeah.
You know.
So if you've got any problems with the buttons on your clippers, kids, take it apart first.
Yeah.
You know, don't just throw it in the bin. There's enough stuff in landfills already.
Message Joseph about it on a Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night. Message me when I've had a couple of drinks and I'm watching a movie and I really want to talk about clippers.
Yeah, that's when to do
it. So, and just that reminds me.
Oh.
How often do you get messaged about stuff now? Like just from
a lot.
Is there just one point, like during the week, just one point? Like for me, it's Saturday night. When someone messages me about clippers on a Saturday night, I'm like, just take a night off, man. Just let it go.
It'll be there on Monday.
Any other night, it's fine. Just Saturday night, man. Just take a night off.
It's usually just Sunday for me. Like 7 days a week I get, which is not a problem because I'm in the mode. I like talking about clippers.
Yep.
But on Sundays, that's my family day.
Yeah.
And then I'll get questions. And then if I don't answer them fast,
you get a question mark.
Yes, which annoys me. They be like, maybe you didn't get it, and they ask it again. And it's like, I'm gonna get to it. I just, I'm out bowling with my kids right now, so.
But like, how do you fight? I bet you get it as well. Like, what's the best clipper? It's a very tough one, isn't it?
So I don't want to be rude, but a lot of people. So if I answer it when I'm doing a review on a clipper, and then people go under the comments and still ask, "What do I think about the clipper?" Or then they ask me, like I did my clippers of the year, trying to do my zero gap thing, and then I name my top 3 clippers, and then I get a DM like, "What is your favorite clipper of the? What do you think I should buy?" I don't know what you really should buy. That's why I kind of don't like to say this is better than this. I just kind of give my opinion on stuff because, some stuff, it costs too much. I don't want to say you should buy something that costs $370 like the Master that just came out. But, I do try to give my best opinion, know.
That's the thing, right? People think you're being like deliberately awkward. If they ask, what is the best clipper? It's not that you're being deliberately awkward.
I am.
You are, but like, I'm not being deliberately awkward.
No, you're not. You're actually not.
What I'm trying to do is, I'm not just going to be, would it be worse if I just went, the cordless Master? Because I couldn't be bothered answering your question properly. And then you go out and buy, like Reggie's saying, a $300-odd clipper. And it's the wrong clipper. I'm not trying to be awkward. What I'm trying to do is go, look, these are the options. I try and find out what they've been using, what type of clipper they're already used to, that kind of thing. And then you can kind of go, well, a good, progression from the Magic Clip would be the Rebel. That is quite a good step in the right direction for you. If they're going, I want the Low Pro, and you're like, did you like the Senior? And they go, no, I didn't like the Senior. You're like, well, you might not like the Low Pro then. It might not be for you. So,
and that's one thing I do like about Reggie's reviews as well, is that in the title, it just simply says, is it worth the money?
Yeah.
Because that is, I've always said that, if the only thing anybody gets from our channel is I now have a better idea of how to spend my money, then at least it was worthwhile doing the video and doing the thing about it. So I think that's a very important thing as well. Something else you've just touched on there was doing something for Zero Gapped. So do we want to talk about that part now?
I think we need to tell everybody what we're planning now.
Yeah.
This is obviously going to be the start of it. So, and it's good because we've got him here.
Yes.
So
I was going to let you do it because your ideas. I never want to feel like I'm taking things away from you. I never want to
it's a share. We're in this together.
Right. So
Or we're now we're in this together.
Right. So we're starting to expand out the Zero Gap Awards. And we're trying to make it more than just what Rum Barber gets. Because as good as what our opinions are in here and the info and the feedback that we get from the Rum Barber Network, sometimes it still just feels a bit too insular.
Yes.
And so what we've done now is we're starting to get together a group of who we think are reputable YouTube barbers who use a lot of equipment, who have a lot of knowledge on these things, have a lot of experience, and incorporate them into this. It's like putting together a panel.
Yeah.
And Reggie has kindly agreed to be part of our panel. So thank you very much for that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for even thinking of me when the idea started. It's a great thing.
Well, we respect your reviews. We respect like the interaction that you've talked about there that you have with the people that watch your videos. I'm sure some of them probably watch our videos, and that's the good thing about this. And like Joseph touched on there, we need to have people that are maybe not tied to a specific company. They're not sponsored, but so they have a good wide knowledge of everything that comes to the market, and you certainly fit that role. And the people that we're bringing on going forward are going to be part of that. So toward the end of the year, we are all going to get together and pull all of our thoughts on all the machines that we've all used, and throughout the year we're going to get Reggie and the other people back on the podcast, and we're just going to kind of try and share everything together between ourselves, all the knowledge that we have and everything, and then that panel will be picking the Zero Gap Awards at the end of the year. So couldn't think of a better person to start with and a better person to have on board than Reggie. So that is absolutely perfect. And that's something to look forward to, because we're hopefully going to make it a bigger award at the end of this year. So
that's the idea. Bigger and better as always. And glad to have Reggie on board with that.
Yes, definitely.
You're welcome, sir. So I think we've pretty much covered all the business we need to cover.
We have. We don't want this going over an hour.
No.
This is going to have to be 2 episodes now.
And we're going to have the time difference as well and everything. I don't want to keep the guy. He's up awfully early to talk to us.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m., isn't it? No, it's not.
So listen, just before we go, is there anything you wanna just sort of say, or?
I put him on the spot now. That was awful. That was look at him. He's on the spot.
Is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to if people don't know what your channel is, what's your channel called, all that stuff.
You need to tell us right now.
This is where you get to plug everything.
Yeah.
So is there anything you want to plug?
YouTube, because I can put it all up on the screen.
Well, if you're on any social media network, I am cut by Reggie across the board. I appreciate Zero Gap Rum Barber for having me here, and it's great to talk. Hopefully everything came off pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like when I ramble in my videos, but that's just me.
No, we're all about the ramble.
We created a whole other channel just to ramble.
Yeah. Yeah. So rambling it is.
So that is Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
YouTube, TikTok.
Right. There we go.
And Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, and Twitter.
Is there much barbering on Twitter?
Not at all.
Good to know.
Not at all.
That's good to know. Like, that's one to avoid.
Yeah, that's fine. Excellent, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time, Reggie. And thank you to everybody who's been listening and subscribing to the YouTube channel of Zero Gapped. If you listen to one or only watch one and don't do the other, here is how you find that information.
It's just more work. You just do that for more work.
I just do that to give you more work. I'm sorry. And we appreciate everybody listening, subscribing, sharing, liking, all that good stuff. Thank you very much to Reggie again for his time today. Thank you very much to Paul for making me sound smarter than I am.
Not a problem.
And we'll speak to you all next time. Goodbye.